I done leveled up, I'm on a new level. Everything I touch turn to gold. Ain't I something special? This one for my haters, I'm a motivator. I make them niggas wanna do better. I want too much, I can never settle. Settle for less, nigga, I can never. If she did better, I probably would've kept her. But oh well, I found something better, and she gon' do me better.
Alright, so for those who watching, man, it's Coach D, Darren Lamb. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might know him from Tuesday Night Fights at the Yard in Fort Worth, Texas. Where you from? Where you grew up? And what was it like growing up where you grew up?
Grew up in a couple of spots, man. Moved around some, but primarily being here from Fort Worth, North Side. It's basically my the foundation. But the east side of Fort Worth is where I grew up as well. House that I grew up in. A lot of people know it as Stop 6. So grew up over there too. Been around, had the pleasure of being able to go to different spots in the world. But primarily Fort Worth, Texas, east side of Fort Worth, Texas is basically my home. You know, that's what I call my home, and that's what raised me and groomed me.
So, what was it like growing up, Fort Worth?
It was good, man. You know, when I was younger, so you gotta realize I'm 45, right? So if I look younger, but I grew up where there wasn't a lot of violence in Fort Worth at first, and then when the gang world flooded to Fort Worth, it changed the dynamic of Fort Worth, you know. And at one point, Fort Worth was the murder capital of the world because of the gang, stuff like this. But this is actually a historic city. It's actually what they call a tourist city. When we was young, there wasn't no violence and things like that until the gang culture came in. So, but I love Fort Worth, man. All my family's here. Been here most of my life. Like I said, I've lived in different places, but been here most of my life. But I love Fort Worth, man.
Yeah, really. Did you play any sports growing up besides, you know, combat sports?
Yeah, believe it or not, I played all sports. I played football, basketball, baseball, yeah, and soccer, man. I did all sports. I mean, in our family, sports was the big thing. You know, everybody. My mom was an athlete. My dad was an athlete, so it was a big thing in our family. My uncles, everybody. So.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's a lot of hands and feet coordination, man. Exactly. That's what my coach told me.
And I said, hey, it all works hand in hand.
Did you have a history of getting into a lot of fights in school?
Man, yeah. I was always in trouble for that because, you know, I was always like on the smaller side, so dudes thought it was cool to test. So I was always having to fight for that, you know. But man, most time people like me, man, pretty much. And I didn't have too many problems with that. But a lot of it, the fights that happened was because of my temper. I always had a temper. I always was fighting and getting in trouble and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was cool. But a lot of it was just me getting in fights and trouble and people trying to. Every once in a while, somebody tried to test and I wasn't going for it.
So you know both MMA and boxing?
I do.
Did you start did you start boxing first and then transported?
Yeah, I actually started in martial arts first. So once again, my mom, my dad, my uncles, my stepdad, which I don't really like using that word stepdad because he's the one who raised me and showed me love, but I say that because all of them was involved in martial arts. I was that kid that was going to the gym at 5 years old, 4 years old, when my mom was doing karate and fighting. I was going to karate tournaments at a young age, watching them fight, not knowing that was something that was going to be a part of my life. And it became a part of my life shortly, I started trying training when I was like 6 years old, man, 6, 7 years old. Started involving myself in karate, which is a Japanese art, and Taekwondo, which is a Korean art. And then a few years later after that, boxing, going to the Boys and Girls Club with my uncle, Shay, who also boxed. Going over there with him and them teaching boxing lessons from there. And everything just really took off from there, man. But I've been involved with shoot, martial arts and things like that for 37, 38 years now.
Almost your whole life. Who's your favorite boxer and your favorite MMA fighter?
My favorite boxer
Of all time.
of all time, okay, just if we're choosing one, I got a couple of guys. I love Roy Jones Jr., but Sugar Ray Leonard is my favorite boxer, man. My favorite MMA fighter, say go.
Why Sugar Ray Leonard?
Man, I just think, okay, so that era was the best, to me, one of the best eras of boxing because there wasn't a lot of picking and choosing who you want to fight, these guys fought everybody.
Yep.
And Sugar Ray Leonard fought all the top lions, all the top dogs, came out of retired, fought the top dog.
Again.
So, you feel me? So, and at that time, it wasn't no cherry picking. They wasn't cherry picking. They was fighting for really one belt that meant something. And so, that's why I love him, man. He fought all the top guys, Hagler,
Ram.
everybody. He fought everybody, So, yeah, love him, man. There's a lot of fighters that I like boxing, but if I'm choosing one, I'm going with Sugar Ray Leonard. MMA wise, best fighter was because in his prime he was the best. I'm gonna go with Anderson Silva. Okay, so Anderson Silva is the reason why there's an Israel Adesanya and all those guys. Which Israel is my favorite MMA fighter.
They
right
fought
now.
too, right? Didn't they fight?
They fought, man. Israel's my favorite fighter now, but before, man, it was Anderson Silva, man. He was just the top dog.
Did you get a chance to see his fight with
Julio Cesar Chavez?
Yeah.
I watched it, man. I was so impressed.
Man.
46 years old, man, and fought supposed to be a top level boxer and handling his business, bro. So look at this guy. They let you know he's the GOAT, man.
Yeah.
It's Anderson Silva. There's no John Jones. There's no Israel Adesanya. There's none of these guys without Anderson Silva, man.
When it comes to MMA fighters and boxing, but why you think the MMA fighters not really, a lot of them, I won't say all of them, but I believe a lot of them don't have a lot of good boxing?
Well, because in MMA they focus on so many other dynamics. So they focus on kicking, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, knees, elbows, Muay Thai, all these other kind of things. But if everybody's listening, I'm gonna say this. If you want to be a good MMA fighter, learn how to box. If you learn how to box, learn the science of boxing and footwork. If you see all my guys, you wouldn't be able to tell if they was MMA guys or kickboxers or boxers because all my guys know how to box. Even the MMA guys. I teach them footwork, lateral movement, side to side, angles, distance, range, and good hands. Because you're right, a lot of people in MMA, they throw their punches different. What I like to do is teach MMA guys how to throw their hands like a boxer and then add everything else, the jiu-jitsu and everything else, but the kicks and movement.
It seems like, I always thought like for a coach, that seems like that'll be the first thing, you know what I'm saying? If you go teach them that, it seems like boxing to be like the first thing.
Well, the reason why is because when you got a coach, like a kickboxing coach, they're like a whole coach. So they teaching kicking, teaching knees, teaching stuff. So they're not focused on one particular thing. And that's why their hands, like me, and you gotta be one of those coaches. I'm one of those coaches that when you throw a punch, if your elbows flare up, if you don't punch right, I'ma stop you. No, turn your hand over, throw a hook like this. Tell them how to punch. I'm all about the technique and the finesse of the upper body boxing game. Now, I will say in MMA, teach them how to box upper body, but the lower portion has to be a little bit different. So boxers stand a little different than MMA guys. MMA guys and kickboxers got to stand different because of the kicks and also because of the takedowns. So they have to stand. If they stand more like a boxer, they're gonna be off bound. They're gonna get taken down. They're gonna get kicked a lot. So I would say adjust your stance lower, but keep the upper body boxing.
So with MMA, did you or boxing? Did you stop at the amateurs or did you reach the pro level?
Yeah, I fought MMA pro, fought boxing pro, and amateur Muay Thai. I won a world title in kickboxing. 2008, IKF world champion. Won a tournament style. So yeah, I've been doing grappling, I guess off and on for about 25 years. So yeah, But yeah, I fought in every arena. Boxing, kickboxing. I'm a 5th degree black belt in karate. 2 different black belts, Taekwondo black belt, 5th degree black belt in karate.
Dangerous, man.
Yeah, I got a lot of credentials, man. Like I said, man, I didn't know I was gonna do this. If somebody would have told me I was gonna be a coach or a fighter 30 years ago, I'd have laughed at them. But growing up, that's what I was around. You know what I'm saying?
So, in them times, man, who did you study the most?
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
It's my guy, man. And I was a big fan of my dad and my uncle. They were really good fighters. My uncle was rated in the top 10 in the world. Actually, my uncle Eric Lamb was Michael Jai White's, one of Michael Jai White's best friend. And my uncle Eric Lamb is also a friend and a mentor of John Jones right now. So
Sure.
I always looked up to him. I actually took my nickname from him. They used to call him Little Dragon. And I took the nickname Little Dragon. I also named one of my best fighters Little Dragon, which was Bruce Lee's name, the Dragon.
Yeah.
So,
That's dope. All right, what was your record? And all that, like, if you remember, just give me a record.
collectively, man, I'm gonna say all together, maybe like from a kid, you talking about all together?
All
I'm gonna say all together probably about maybe 50, 60 wins, probably like 5 losses collectively. Lost a couple MMA fights, lost a pro boxing fight to a majority decision, which I thought that I won. You know, be a little biased, but that's cool. Taekwondo, fought Olympic style Taekwondo, won some gold medals, fought karate, won national championship in karate in 1988 when I was a kid. So collectively, that I was undefeated as a Muay Thai fighter. But yeah, so collectively, man, a lot of wins, probably about 50, 60 wins, maybe give or take more, and probably about altogether 4 or 5 losses.
That's good, man. So, how did you get involved with coaching?
And by the way, that means pro and amateur, and as a kid. So you know,